Okay, hi YouTube, Mr. Who's the Boss here, and in this video we're going to be talking about the Nexus 6. So, with the Nexus 4 and Nexus 5 being a total sellout success, there's absolutely no doubt that the Nexus 6 is on the horizon. On top of that, we've been seeing some very curious price cuts, with the Nexus 5 going for as little as £200 and the Nexus 4 going for as little as £100. So, as if that wasn't already enough evidence, there's been many photos which actually claim to be of the Nexus 6 device. So, I'm going to break this video up into three sections: the things we know, the things that we think we know, and the things we've got no idea about. So, as with all Nexus devices, the Nexus 6 will launch with a brand new version of Android, which will probably be Android 5.0. Now in this case, the Android version will be codenamed either Android Key Pie Lime or Android Lollipop. It's up to you which you prefer. The Nexus 6 will have an improved battery life compared to the Nexus 5. It's the kind of phone that you can take for a whole day without charging and use it heavily and it'll still last. It won't compete with the Galaxy Note series of devices in terms of battery, but it'll be more than enough for most heavy users. We're also pretty certain that the Nexus 6 will contain 3GB of RAM to keep everything ticking over nice and smoothly. So we're almost certain that the Nexus 6 will come with a 5.2-inch display. Now this will either be 1080p or 2K, depending on whether Google decides to match the godly specs of the Oppo Find 7. On top of that, it's almost guaranteed to be running a Snapdragon 805 processor. As for the price, these are the most cost-efficient processors and they have built-in LTE. It'll have a plastic unibody design which will keep the phone cheap to manufacture and light to hold. So most people agree on the fact that it will not have a flexible display. Not only is this technology quite expensive, but it's also not really got any real benefits at the minute. So we're still pretty unsure as to whether the Nexus 6 is going to be sporting a fingerprint sensor, or a heart rate monitor, or any of the other accessories that Samsung Galaxy S5 possesses. However, to me it seems pretty unlikely that this will be the case, because they're just going to add unnecessary cost to an otherwise budget-friendly phone. On top of that, the Nexus 6 is meant to run stock Android, and is meant to give people a pure Android experience who don't want other applications bloating up their user experience. The camera will also be much better than that of the Nexus 5 and Nexus 4, which had a reputation for their poor quality. Not only would the aperture lens be larger, but the actual megapixel count should also be higher, probably 12 or 13. We don't really know when the Nexus 6 will release. I mean, some people have pegged it for an April release date, but that seems a little bit too early to me, and personally I think it will be sometime in the summer or perhaps even October-September time. Next is the price. Personally, I think the device will go for about £349 in the UK or $399 in the US, but a lot of people have argued that Google will sort of do everything they can to keep the price rock bottom. So if they have to have the same components as last year, they will do that in order to achieve the $299 price tag that was achieved with the Nexus 4. So, what do you guys think? Do you have any predictions for the Nexus 6? If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more.